me. I am just an everyday, hard-working mom, born in Boston, raised in Situate in low-income and Section 8 housing.
Situate.
Yes.
Situate.
You're from Situate. Oh, hey, look at that, fellow sailor. See, small world, 6 degrees of separation everywhere in Massachusetts. So I got involved in this race because of what Bill Galvin in the Secretary of State's office did to me 2 years ago when I ran as a write-in against Ayanna Pressley. So the number was lowered to 1,000 in order to get on the ballot. I got 1,200, but they said, oh, no, Rayla, you have to get the pre-COVID standard of 2,000 signatures in order to qualify for the November ballot, which broke the law that was currently in place and violated my constitutional rights. So they couldn't figure out that 1,200 is more than 1,000 because they got Common Core math going still. So we have a lawsuit right now because they have recounted and it's funny, it's always just Republican elections, special elections for Republicans. And they've recounted other ballots in the city of Boston, but they failed to recount mine. And they actually, and we have them on video, ignored me. It's on my Facebook page labeled as the 3 blind mice, because that's exactly what I was like. I'm just asking a question.
Do me a favor, just hold that.
They don't like when you ask questions. And I was frustrated because of what Ayanna Pressley was pushing in my town. Now, my husband's Irish. I grew up on the South Shore. I had a very diverse neighborhood, and we never saw skin color. We were raised and we were taught to only see red, white, and blue.
Amen.
So here comes this woman, and hilarious. She probably doesn't define herself as a woman. And today we dropped off papers in the city of Boston, and guess who happened to be there? Oh, and I popped a selfie with her behind me. I was like, she looked like she was stumbling to go down the stairs. So I'm in Facebook timeout. Otherwise, you would already see it. They like to silence black conservatives because we don't speak the narrative, and we're not going to ever speak the narrative. I know where I come from. I know my state. My parents, my mom grew up in the Dorchester and Mattapan projects. My husband's parents grew up in Dorchester and Mission Hill projects. So they know what it's like to work hard. He's also 3rd generation Irish. We've got 3 beautiful kids. My son he's a killer. His name is Titan. He's amazing. I have 2 daughters. My oldest is Josephine, and my middle one is Hannah. They're 12, 10, and 5. So school's starting. They gave me the primary day off. And he starts on the 7th because I'm going to be in the parking lot like, why? But you're not going to teach my children that they're both the oppressor and the oppressed. And then when I ask to see what the curriculum is, you're going to label me a domestic terrorist? I just want to know what you're teaching my kid. And if there's nothing to hide, then why won't you give it to me? Freedom of Information Act. And a lot of people have been stopped locally. But they don't realize that you can go and appeal to the Secretary of State's office. And them trying to charge you, how much does it cost to send an email? Exactly. So they're trying to do that to deter people from investigating what's going on. Transparency. As your first Madam Secretary, I will make sure that there is transparency and accountability, and that we are purging the voter rolls. We are having voter ID. We're going to have an instant uploading process from when somebody dies. They can hit the button, this person's dead, and they're removed from the voter roll. And I'm going to make sure we protect our history. So when we look at what they have done under saying that, oh, this person's racist. Well, no. If you know your history here in Massachusetts, then you know that that Abraham Lincoln statue was there for 187 years, bought and paid for by freed slaves. And you took it down because you felt like it was racist. Then you also vandalized the 54th. Now this is all the left. That is the first all African American monument. And it is also the first all African American regiment that went out and fought for our freedom. Then they decapitated Columbus and then took him down. We're going to make sure that our statues go back up and that our children know their history, where they came from. But it is so important that you have leaders and you have people that are going to go out there and fight. So they made everybody shut down their businesses, and we can see now that they're like, oh, so we were wrong. Clearly. And you had to shut down.
Yep.
And then what they do? They gave themselves a raise. And then what they do after that? They charged you for the unemployment that they gave to everybody. And then they raised your fees. Excuse me? What's going on here? As we have a huge surplus in tax revenue, and yet they did not bail out any of our businesses. Nobody got the help that they needed. Where's the money going? Information, keeper of records. I'll make sure people know what's going on and what your money is being spent on and what bills are up there that affect your life directly, especially when we see what they're doing with the child sex education that they're forcing on our children. And it is not a requirement to be taught in Massachusetts schools, so why is it? We need to push back. We know the law and what the law says, and that's why they have the Healthy Youth Act. Like, sounds nice. Okay, what is this? Oh, they want to expand the age of consent. Huh. So that means lower it, right? So that means statutory rape, right? And all the filth that we see being taught to our children and these books that are obscene. And it's disgusting, and it is pornographic. And it is all in comic book motif. Why is that? They don't even need to read. They just can look at the pictures. And the pictures are so graphic. And then as us parents, when we read the words, you'd be shocked. And I do have 2 of the books with me in my car, if you want to be shocked. It's pretty disgusting. But they think it's okay. So the left is mad at me because I'm going after all of the filth that they are trying to push on us. Because I shut down Drag Queen Story Hour in our public library.
Thank you.
They're very upset with that one.
Go with the picture.
I only had 2 questions. Is this person Corey checked? And what book are you reading? Wow. That is so horrible that they lost their minds and they came and they were very intimidating and I'm like, what happened to love? Like, you're so accepting. My favorite is the like, Black Lives Matter, and I'm like, yeah. I've been told I don't know what it's like to be black. My fundraiser at the Cabbie Shack, they called me a Nazi and a racist, and it was pretty funny having people come up to me and like try to rub my, nope, she's still black, not changing, and they were just getting mad. And that's what, once you just point out the hypocrisy and the ideology that what are you teaching these kids? What are you doing? Because these are young kids. And she came up to me and she's like, I'm non-binary. I was like, do you want a cookie? I don't care. What do you, I really don't. Whatever you do as an adult in the privacy of your home, I don't care. But when it comes to where my tax dollars in public schools with my children and other people's children, they aren't yours. You do not have a right to push this type of propaganda and hate, and it's grooming. And you have no right to do that to anybody else's child. So you'll see me fighting on a lot of issues. We marched in 15 Below against all the mandates. I was let go from my job that I worked from home from for 5 years for not being vaccinated. And it was, well, they couldn't let me go because I was like, well, that's discrimination or retaliation. Oh, we eliminated your position. Oh, okay. That's a go-around. That is a legal go-around. So the other people, they didn't get the legal go-around, they got fired. And there should be accountability for that. And all of these people should get all of that back, payback, and if they want to, a better position at that job. Because look at what you've done to people's livelihoods. Now, I don't judge anybody. I am not vaccinated. My children aren't vaccinated. I also haven't gotten COVID, and I've been campaigning for going on 3 years. Yes. There is such thing as herd immunity. Correct. We are strong. God gave us these bodies. If it wasn't for the Lord, I would not be here right now standing in front of all of you, taking the bullets that I'm getting. I get death threats, my family, we have been attacked multiple times, but I'm still standing here because I know that we need a leader and we need a voice in this state. And I will make sure that I am always that beacon of light and that voice for the people. So amazing. I have a new friend here. I brought signs. We've got literature. We definitely need donations because whoever wins the primary between Galvin and Ayanna Presley's mini clone who wants to expand the Secretary of State's office into abortion. Yeah, no, I'm pro-life and I will make sure that we protect our Constitution, which states life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Without life, you can't have the other. I know, we're all trapped up here. Just don't know what to, so excited, people are cheering.
Well, he was a bunch.
He's unhappy.
It's under the next.
All that hair. There we go. We got it. You're good. Ice skates. She needs little booties. But we've got to make sure that we are paying attention to what's going on. And we get out there and we vote in the primary. I am on the primary ballot. It's just a nice little making sure you remember the names. But we do have a lot of candidates that have primaries out there. And we need to be supporting our candidates that are pro-life, that are pro-American, that are going to stand up for our Constitution and stand up for what it means to be a Bostonian. Don't ever be afraid of where you come from. I'm not afraid of where I come from. I'm a product of my environment. I've got a great education in public schools when they taught. You know, I've learned, I've got a skill. I am a dental assistant. I am DMV certified. I can work anywhere in the country. Children need skills. They need to be able to have something to fall back on. And what are we going to do if we're not building here? We're not manufacturing here. If our kids don't know, look at our trains. That's all I got to say. I'm like, yeah, exactly, made in China. Why? They should be made here. We come from a state where we used to manufacture and we see what our state looks like now. So I'll make sure that we're lowering the fees and we're getting these companies back. And we're protecting our Second Amendment rights, and we're standing up for what we value most here in Massachusetts. We stand up for freedom. We always have. But we know that this is where it all began. This country would not exist if it wasn't for Massachusetts. And we need to lead again. So when this next red wave comes in November and we make history yet again when you guys elect me as your first Madam Secretary. It's going to be incredible and we're going to send a shock throughout the nation. We are not a blue state. We have been forgotten about. We have been silenced. Because we've been busy. We've been raising our families. We've been working. We've been actually productive in this society. And now we see what they've been doing behind our backs. And they slapped us in the face with it.
Hijacked.
They did. And now we're going to tell them, remember, it's we, the people, who are in control. So they want to come into your businesses and have the IRS come on you. Well, wait, whoa, hold on. I want to see what these politicians are making, because guess what? That's your tax money. Your money pays them. Remember your rights. Remember the Constitution. And when we stand up and we're strong and we unite together, there is no telling what we can do. And that's what they're afraid of. And we're going to do it. And we're going to show the world. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you. You want to take some questions?
I can always take
All right. Jamie, come on up.
I'm going to vote for you. Bill Galvin's been in there too long. He's part of the machine. He has to go.
Yes, absolutely. And we're going to make sure he goes. He's calling me. So in his debate, he called me QAnon. I literally wore a shirt that I got for free at the Trump store to a rally, and all of a sudden I became cute. I was like, what? I'm cute? Yeah, I know, thanks. But it was a shirt. I'm like, what? I didn't even know. I'm like, and then they asked me, and I was like, what's cute? Because I had no idea. Then he runs his ad. Trump's trying to steal the election.
Yeah.
Well, Trump's not on the ballot this year. So how's he stealing an election that you're in charge of?
He says Trump has a plan. Can you ask him for the plan?
I would love to know that plan.
Copy of it.
Yes,
Thank you,
yes.
Mark. I'm feeling the line.
No, he didn't say that
Well-
he's planning to. He says he has a plan.
He has a
So
plan.
we would like to see the plan.
I'm his plan. Oh, Claire just-
I just wanted to say something that Rayla forgot to mention. Keller at Large did say that Rayla is the purpling of Massachusetts.
Yes. He's a little mad at me.
Purple, we'll take purple.
I'll take purple.
Okay.
Rayla,
Yes.
this morning I found this story Mass Live put out. The huge turnout so far has surprised Secretary of State Galvin, who is running for re-election against Tanisha Sullivan, the president of the Boston NAACP, but never mentions you.
Of course not.
I thought that was so ridiculous.
They like to do that, so if they don't mention me, it's like I don't exist, but everybody knows, so then you read the comments and it's like, what about Rayla Campbell? What about Rayla Campbell? What about Rayla Campbell? But they don't want to talk about me because, again, they have the machine. They have that machine, the left machine, the Soros money. She's backed by Ayanna Pressley. We made history, and they want to take it away from us because they weren't the ones to make history first.
I think you should have some legal resource for Mass to go after Mass Live after that.
Well, they're press. They can say what they want.
Yeah, I know.
They can't.
They get away with it.
Not do it.
So that brings, you said machine, so that triggered me. So my question of the day is, do you believe we have an election integrity problem, a serious election integrity problem?
I definitely think we do. And if there's nothing, like I said, if there's nothing to hide, why won't they recount the ballots? Why does he talk about his historic election, the historic mayoral election, when it had historically low turnout? And it took 11 days again to count the ballots. It took them the same 11 days to count my ballots. Now, I've seen the process that you go through because I've been out there collecting signatures. When you're actually getting the signatures and you're going and getting them certified, the clerk has got to log in, they've got to look at your address, verify your signature. They have to do this for each one, but yet they can't count bubbles? Doesn't make sense. Everything needs to be hand counted. It's very simple.
So they must be. I get it. So they must be scared of you. Obviously, very scared of you. So you know, look what they're doing to Dean Tran, right? Obviously, we believe that was fabricated, made up, or something from 19. Are they going to try to do something to you? Are they going to come out with something because they're afraid that you're getting too close to potential victory?
Well, it's funny you say that. So they just did. So we had a whole bunch of, like I said, at the Cabbie Shack at our rally.
Yeah.
And I had the founder of Blue Lives Matter here, Joe Imperatrice, with me. And we did a Back the Blues standout. And they came and they know that I've been talking about these books and having to get them pulled off the shelves. And they all were like, oh, we have those books in our personal collection. Then went over to the cops and said that I had child pornography in my car. And then tried to blast it out there on Twitter, which of course is the bathroom walls of the internet. So they did see that it was unfounded, and the Plymouth police were like, no, that Miss Campbell was never arrested. Those are false reports. So they are trying. They try to besmirch my name, defame my character. That's why I just keep going, because I know I pissed them off.
So I know my wife and I, and we talk about this all the time. They're always doing it. We don't seem to ever do it
back.
Right.
You know, when are we going to get, unfortunately, we're going to have to play dirty with dirty stuff.
Yeah.
I know we don't want to, and we want to be conservative, but like this is, they're winning from doing this.
Yeah.
Like I'm afraid of Dean Tran because everyone's going to see that this was out there. It was on Channel 7 News.
Yep.
And you'll never see it if he's not convicted or found innocent. It'll never be out there.
No, and that's why
It'll
it's
be on
up
12
to...
page, and people will just remember what they saw and say, oh my God, he stole guns.
That's why you got to go after them. Like my page, I go after everybody.
Good.
And my followers are really good at also pushing back. Yeah, they are pit
Yeah,
bulls.
well, we need that.
You have to. You gotta
fight them like they're fighting us.
Fight fire with fire.
Right, good.
And I say I fight fire with a blowtorch. I was blown right out.
I just want to thank you for coming. I haven't really been following your campaign. You're obviously a beautiful person inside and out. I want to thank you for running. I love the reasons why you're running. I'm not even from Groton, but I come here because I just want to be with like-minded people. And I know you talked a little bit about discrimination, but I think all of us here have kind of been bullied on some level.
Yeah.
Like we just feel like
There's all kinds of discrimination over there.
Yeah. Oh, now it's reversed. So it's trying, yeah, it's straight up discrimination, but they want to make you feel so guilty that you have to accept it, and you never accept it. You know that you're not a racist. You can't, what they don't understand is that was a time in the past. How do you think they got those slaves? You know, because they wouldn't have got them if we didn't sell them, and it was trade, and that's how it worked back then. But they can't wrap their head around when you make changes. And look at where we are now. Now the only slave owners is the Democrat Party. And we can see it with they're trying to take the minds of the children. And then you have what you see in the cities. And the people don't vote. That's a sign of voter suppression, because they are actually like, well, when we do vote for our candidate, they don't win. It's always an establishment. So that in itself is their own way of discriminating against everybody, because they think they're better than us. That's why they've got to keep this racial divide. But when you go to schools and you look at everybody, we're all mixed. I mean, I'm 25% Brit, so my kids are like double oppressor. And they're Irish, so they're double oppressed. And then my stepdad's Jewish, so they're triple oppressed. And my kids have just got it great.
They need help.
Yeah, they need a lot of help. But a lot of people have forgotten to laugh. And I grew up in a time when we had In Living Color, and we had stereotypes, and it was hilarious. Like, you just knew, and you were able to laugh. And then we let the PC people like, oh my God, that hurt my feelings. And it's like, okay, and? You know, it's just like get thicker skin. But then it was, well, this person might be, I'm not offended, but it might offend this person. So now I got to care about everybody. It's like, if it offends you, then you don't have to listen. It's like, you don't got to come on my page. They literally come on my page to tell me they hate me. And I'm like, that's awesome. I'm glad that I triggered you that much.
Is Becky
but,
Bright here?
Becky?
Yeah. Because because that came out of her mouth.
Oh.
Honest to
Yeah.
God. Like, whoa.
It's so hard. We go to the school committee meetings and we try to talk about CRT and they just say, well, we're not teaching CRT. And they show it, some part of the curriculum. So they just hide it.
Yes.
And everybody, calls it.
Well, they changed the name.
Well,
Yeah,
they call it
culture-
diversity,
something
equity, and inclusion, which is really
responsive
exactly the
teaching,
same thing.
something
Yeah.
like that. And
It's
so
all the
just-
same.
They just have
Social,
this way of
emotional
dismissing-
learning.
Yeah.
Dismissing everybody for everything, and we just feel like we just don't have a voice. So thank you for being our voice. And
Yes.
I hope that you will consider running for president.
I gotta wait a couple years. I have been, my daughters has been saying that too. But, when you have school meetings, you just get up and you have to record them. A lot of people, and I know it's very scary to get up and stand in front of people. I remember my first time, my husband's like, you're yelling. I'm like, am I? I didn't notice I was, but then you build the confidence. And when you just take a breath and know that God's on your side, you take a breath and you just read exactly what your kid's getting. And if they can't stand to listen to it, why should your kid have to be taught it? So when we keep posting and sharing and sharing and sharing, again, I'm in a timeout because I shared the book that our kids are exposed to in very little ages. It's right there in every public library. They're very upset about that, and because I said that illegals get more benefits than Americans, and they got very upset with me and said that was hate speech.
No, it's not. It's true. It's the truth.
Facts.
Again.
You see in New York, free health.
Yeah, I watched them coming off the bus. Yeah, all that stuff. But we've all got to stand up and we've got to remember community and rebuilding our community and taking our communities back. We are not a sanctuary state. We should not be overrun the way that we are. We should not be paying for these illegals to come into our schools and look at what they're doing. They're taking away honors classes. They're saying math is racist. I love math.
Math is
racist. The Pledge of Allegiance, it needs to be brought back. The Lord's Prayer. We used to say prayer before lunch. Yeah, I remember
So going
that.
on with that, there was an article that said China is teaching their kids calculus and differential equations. We're teaching our kids pronouns.
Yes.
How's that going to work?
Yeah. Well, it's funny. My husband goes, he never knew what a pronoun was until everybody started. He was like, what? But that's the problem, is we've let the small, tiny, minute part of our society that needs help, and they need to be nurtured, and they need doctors, because a lot of their think is crazy, especially when they want to redefine child molesters as people who like young people. I'm pretty sure, yeah. They're attracted to youth or something. That's their... a minor attracted person. Yeah. That's the problem that we have, and we have everybody going, what are we going to do? We're going to say no, and we're going to say get the bad word out, because there's kids here. And we're going to make sure that we're standing up and standing back. I know they're probably like, I've heard worse. I know some of my kids would say, like, what? They don't think I swear.
This is probably taboo, but I also read the other day, which is interesting. I mean, they're investigating Trump like crazy, right?
Yeah.
No
way. So Pelosi made $175,000 a year, and she's going to be walking away next year with $192 million. Wow. Does anyone investigate how's that possible that they're all doing this?
Exactly.
So I know you say exactly and I say exactly.
Insider trading.
But why are they not investigating why they're all walking away with it?
Because they're in control. That is the dark money. So when we see PBS, public access television, they go and they give their lists to the Democrats. And they solicit those people for money and the corporations. That's why you see the programs are all geared one way, and it is not the way that we want to see things. when you see Big Pharma. We are still coming out of our opioid epidemic, but yet we have all of these vaccinations, and I call them their inoculations because they don't work anymore.
They don't work.
And we've got more and more and more. And now we've got monkeypox and another new disease that is coming out. And guess what that's going to be? Big Pharma. And guess where Big Pharma is? It's in your backyard, right here in Massachusetts, along with, you have big tech and you've got all the scientific. It's right here, and they're getting all their money from, it's all dark money, and
So
they're profiting
all
off
getting
it.
kickbacks.
Yeah, major kickbacks.
This should be a huge investigation.
And the lobbyists, they get all the
You own the
information.
FBI though.
I know, but it's insane.
It's, and that's once you start following the money. So once I become your first Madam Secretary, I have access
Yeah, that's what I was wondering.
to everything, because guess what?
Yeah.
Everybody's got to register through the Secretary of State's office.
They're scared of Trump. 'cause
And that's why they're afraid of me, and they're calling
afraid of
me
you.
Trump. And I'm like, oh.
How are we going to get you elected though if
Right.
we've got machines?
Because you're gonna show up, they're already
On the day,
afraid,
on
on
the
the day, you're
Late in
gonna
the day.
take a picture, not with you with your ballot, you're gonna take a picture of your ballot after you fill it out, before you put it in the machine, when you're still in your private booth. Remember, nobody can be over there watching you, because that's between you and God. You're gonna take that picture, you're gonna make sure you save it, and you're gonna put your ballot. I don't know, some towns have machines, some towns are not using machines. If you're down the Cape, they're fantastic. They have like the old wooden box where literally you have to crank it, and it just puts you, that's what we should be doing. But we're gonna go in person. And what you're gonna do is if you've gotten an application, as people have gotten the applications in the mail, make sure you have that with you so they can't say that you voted, because that application has your date of birth on it, it's got your full name and your party affiliation. So that's why it is so important to make sure that you're going in person, and I think so many people are. If you know somebody that can't, absentee ballot.
Yeah.
Still do the original process of absentee that has checks and balances in place.
That's what I did in Groton for all the Rivercourt residents.
Absentee.
I got them all registered, and they have already voted.
Awesome.
Already voted.
That's fantastic. They vote for me?
I can't be involved. I have to, I can't tell that you made it.
We put all the signs out. These are the ones you vote for.
Have you seen?
Wait,
Hey, John.
another person back there.
Charlie?
Follow-up question.
What are you gonna do about all the fraudulent mail-in voting boxes that are gonna be all around the state again?
Oh, so funny. They're supposed to be under 24/7 surveillance, right?
Yeah, they're not.
So, exactly.
They're not.
So what I'm going to be doing, and I have time available, and sometimes, not really a lot, but certain days because my kids are going back to school, I'm actually going to go and take some pictures of some drop boxes. And I want to see where the cameras are. Where are they? I want to see. And I guarantee you I'm going to find plenty that are unsupervised, so then we're going to call them out. I am media as well, so I do have my radio show, which comes on tomorrow from 9 to 11 every Thursday morning, and I think you might be able to get it up here, but you can stream it on my Facebook page. I'm out of Nashua, WSMN, so it's 1590 AM, 95.3 FM, or you can find us on the web. It's WSMN.live. If you're following me, I'll go live if I'm allowed to in my timeout. Otherwise, if you go to my website, it's Rayla for MA, you can just click the microphone and it'll bring you to my show, and we will be making sure that we're exposing everything that's going on. And now we're getting into the grind. So once we're after the primary, it's going to be like, okay, you thought they were bad before. They're really going to come after us hard, and I'm going to push back even harder, and that's what we need, strong Republicans in the race, because they're coming with the claws. They really know that there's something going on. There's a movement, and they're going to be ousted. And I'm so excited.
Can you repeat that? Your content, the for tomorrow?
Yes, so it's, yes, so if you go to my website, Rayla for MA, RAYLAFORMA.com.
For MALA?
Nope, just MA.
Okay.
Rayla.
Rayla for MA, yeah, RaylaForMass.com. And then it has all the links right up at the top for my Facebook, my Twitter, my LinkedIn, my radio show.
Do you have any push cards?
I do, we have,
Can you pass out push cards?
I do, I have them right out there. I've got envelopes ready for donation.
Can you pass, do you have a QR code on it?
Yes, we do. We have QR codes on our cards. We've got QR codes on our literature. It's a very important, easy way to do it. But we also do take checks. Same thing. They can be made out to Rayla for MA, RAYLAFORMA.
I have one more question. What if someone wanted to volunteer to be a poll watcher or a Dropbox?
Yes.
How do you do that? How do you?
So we definitely need people to volunteer. So we would just sign up with our team through my, you can go through my email, send me an email and say you want to volunteer to be a poll watcher, and you'll go in and we'll make sure that we have badges for our poll watchers so they know that they're with our campaign. And that way, anything happens, you call me right away, and trust me, I can be anywhere in a heartbeat. I need a state troop escort. There's something going on, and they will do that. So yeah, we got to make sure that we've got poll watchers, and we need them there all day. So it's going to be really a big showing, I think, and a lot of people are ready to go to the polls and to vote in person, and we're gonna make sure that we've got people there. And remember that we're gonna win. We just need people there. Yes.
On the poll watching, can you only poll watch at the poll where you vote? Or
No,
anywhere? Okay.
anywhere. Yes, you can poll watch anywhere. So we want to get the biggest areas as well, because that's where the most corruption will be.
So if what happened to me last time, my son came right after us, and this first time to vote, so I showed him how to vote. And when I went up to the machine, the poll watcher said, "Oh, it doesn't matter, it's not going to count anyway." Ha ha ha. I made a joke about that. This was in 2016. And for 2020, we went, and my second oldest son came with me, and I showed him how to vote. My oldest son was way ahead of us. He went through fine, but when I showed him how to, the same person was guiding us out, like with the only Republicans in West Groton. Well, not West Groton, but mostly Groton. But the machine stopped just as I put it in, and then it spit it back out, and then the screen went blank. And so the person that was one of the poll watchers came over, and the officer said, "Oh, is there a problem?" And I said, "Yes, this happened to me in 2016. Now it's happening again. I swear, you know, I'm a Republican, or I'm voting Republican because I'm independent at the time." And he just said, "Well, try again." So we put it back in. They shut off the machine. They restarted the machine, and then it just said my my ballot was casted. How do I know it was my ballot? How do I know that they weren't
And what the number was.
Right. How do I know where? So how do you know if that? Because
You
I
don't.
swear I have a number on me.
Well, someone's.
So how do they know?
That's
You
what
don't.
we
My son
need.
and mine did not get casted.
If there's software, it doesn't matter. Even if you got casted, they flip the votes in the database after.
Well,
It's
here's
all
the thing.
proven. This is all
That's
totally
what we
secure.
need, people
Right.
standing right there, and we actually did catch
But even
it
that-
on tape in Somerville.
Yeah.
So, and this is like, we're really gonna have lawyers and everything in place this time. The GOP is making sure they're on that. But you have to watch the machine and
I'm gonna wear a
the
GoPro
ticker.
next time I go to vote.
Yeah,
But you can't
Yeah.
see what the machine is doing afterwards with the numbers.
Right.
That's the whole
well, that's
problem.
when they empty the machines, they're supposed to be re-hand counting because they're in case of any write-ins, and there's always a write-in somewhere.
Yeah, but they're not tallying from the paper by hand. They're tallying with the machine.
They,
If you watch Jovan Pulitzer,
yes,
or,
I know they are, but I can, what we've seen is when they do recount, Some towns are just recounting the tally. Some towns are recounting the ballots.
We recounted
Ballots.
Absolutely.
So it depends on where the town is.
Yes. Have you seen the movie Selections Code about Tina Peters in Colorado, the clerk that blew the whistle and then got arrested?
Do you know, I've been out campaigning. When do I have time to watch movies?
Well, it's only an hour, but you know, it's about this very thing. So it's called Selection Code.
I wish I had an hour. My hour involves sleeping sometimes.
All right, well,
After I win the election, I'll watch it.
Well, I'm trying to lead into something here. I think we should write letters to our town clerks that we're concerned about this and that we don't like machines and software being used, and make a statement about this.
Well, that's what a lot of people don't know. So your town did have a meeting just recently, and which they voted on how they were going to do the voting process. Again, it's summer, we're away doing vacations, it's getting ready for school, so a lot of people don't attend any meetings in the summer, and that's when they make decisions, especially when it comes to voting. So that has been happened, that has already gone and happened in a lot of towns, and we've had people that did show up and they voted against using the machine, and the town overrode them anyway. So we've got to make sure that the people's voices are heard, and that town that I'm talking about, they are appealing, and they are going to be bringing that to the Secretary of State's Office for Freedom of Information, and I hope that it'll be fixed before the election.
As a matter of fact, back in April, when we had town meeting, that was discussed, to get another machine.
Yeah, the machines are a problem.
And it flew through.
Of course, but
People weren't there to stop it.
if you guys watch this film, Selection Code, you'll never want a machine near your vote ever again. Okay,
Well, they
it's been
shouldn't
a
be
problem
anyway.
from the beginning. Okay,
Shouldn't be anyway.
they don't. You're basically not electing anybody with the machine. I mean, that's what I'm really worried about. We could have the greatest groundswell and red wave, but it could just be canceled by software.
From China.
All right, well,
From China.
I want to say thank you, Rayla. Thank you very much for coming all the way out here. It's a long drive. We really appreciate it. We're glad you came. Rayla, 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 Rayla. All right, what we're going to do now is we're going to take a little, just 5-minute hiatus here so that everyone can use their smartphones to look at the QR codes. And if you'd like, you could make a donation to the page. So we're just going to take 5 minutes so you can, log on and try to make a donation. All right?
30 seconds.